As the yoke is now beginning to take shape, I really need to lose quite a lot of mass from it. It's a really big chunk of aluminium. I'm going to start taking out some big recesses just to help lose some of that mass and make this considerably lighter than what it currently is. This is a very basic milling operation. I'll just be using the end mill to take out that excess material. I will also, whilst I'm going about this, reduce the thickness of the clamp, the depth of the clamp, to 25mm to bring it on design. I think it's fair to say, given the noise that was making, I was really pushing the limits of both the mill and the cutter here. I think it's actually getting quite blunt now. As you can see, I've machined out quite a lot more of the excess material in the middle of the yoke. We saw the operation where I used an end mill to remove that section there. I've since used a slot drill to remove this big section here. What I've also done is brought down that face to a point where I can actually put screws through to hold the Motoscope Pro, and the middle hole is the cable entry for the Motoscope. What I intend to tack on next is to round off the outer edges of both the fork clamps, and to do that I'll use a very similar setup with the rotary table that I used to cut the arc for the Motoscope Pro itself. As I did for the arc for the Motoscope Pro, I will be using the 1MT collet, which will be installed into the spindle of the rotary table. I'm going to use the same adapter I had before, which was a 12mm diameter on the lower section and a 14mm diameter on the larger section. That will drop into the spindle. On top of that, I've turned another bush, this time with a bored 14mm diameter, to fit over the previous adapter, and then the external diameter is 34.7mm sized to accommodate the fork leg clamp holes. It's taken me a fair while to get this set up. One of the things I've done is drilled and tapped the little adapter that slides into the 1MT 12mm collet, therefore allowing me to put some clamping force on this end on my little jig. The collet is held securely in the rotary table by a bolt from the other side, so it's all nice and tight now. Otherwise, I've already centered the spindle below the quill. I've now offset it on the x-axis. I'm going to keep it fixed on the y-axis and offset it on the x-axis, and use this big chunky end mill to cut the radius around this fork clamp. I'm looking for a 27.5mm radius, and I've got a 19mm end mill, so ultimately I'm looking for an offset of 37mm, and I'll work myself down to that in a number of cuts. Nice finish. It's got a nice clean start. I'm not sure how far I'll get this round because it fouls with the post. Yeah, I don't think I can go any further without it showing. That's good, happy with that. I think it's fair to say that's come out quite nice. Very pleased with that. Need to clean off that blue. Nice finish. Hopefully I'm not losing the focus there. Okay, what I do is I will now crack on and get the other side done, and we'll see where we go from there. As we can see, I've now radiused both sides, so each fork clamp has now been done. I'll wrap this video up here, and I think what I'll now go on to do for the next video is looking at the actual clamping bolt arrangements and the slits I'll need to cut to enable the fork legs and the stem to actually be clamped by the clamping bolts.